Hey guys, this is Matt with MoPro Gaming here with another tip. So we're going to go over the curl flat and how to use it to score in the red zone. So um, this year, unlike last year, the curl flat zones, so most people in the red zone are going to either play cover 4 or cover 3, or they're going to play cover 2. I think most people are going to play either cover 2 or cover 4, so we'll just show you how to beat the cover 4. So this maximum coverage. So obviously if they blitz out of this, like if they send any more than like, so right now they're only sending 3 people, right? So they have 8 people in coverage, right? So what we're going to do to exploit this, the cover 4, is we're going to attack the curl area. So we're going to attack this defender here. So this year the curl flats actually, they don't play the curl area as well as they used to. They actually play more to the flats now. So if they're using a curl flat, right, this curl route, the curl route is going to be an open throw. What you have to do to get it open, so you just come out in any, so this is gun wide trips in the Bengals formation, but a lot of wide trips formations have this. So what you want to do is you want to motion the running back over, put him on an option route, and then leave the tight end on his route. I mean, if you want, you can put him on a slant. Yeah, you can put him on a slant. Maybe put that guy on a fade, because right now we're going to be focusing on the right side. So on the right side, we're going to read the flat. So if he leaves the flat open, which he won't, then we're going to throw it straight to the curl. So this is with the curl flats, and you just want to throw a low ball. Of course, when I do it, now it doesn't want to work. Alternatively, you can leave the tight end on his route as well if you want to. So we're going to go ahead like that. Come on. I just did it 2 times in a row. Alright. Same play. And then you just throw a low ball. And the defense is not going to react. Right? So, you look in replay. So basically, whenever they play cover 4, this window will be there for you. So you can do this out of any wide trips formation. It's very important to have this combination of the flat coming from the slot defender, or I mean from the slot receiver, because if you do it from the backfield, so if I put this guy on the flat, it would take a while to pull this defender out of the area. So whenever you have that flat, it's going to pull the curl flat. So that's why curl flats are really good this year, especially versus cover 4 and cover 3. Because that flat defender is going to always, like, no matter what zone they're in, if they're in a curl flat, cloud flat, the only thing they can do is put them on a seam flat, and then it will get covered up, but most people don't do that adjustment. So that flat defender is always going to drag them out. So that, just to show you again, go ahead. All right, put them on an option route. So basically, we're playing with these two defenders. We're playing with this linebacker here and this linebacker. So if he goes to the flat and then he pulls over, then we just throw it to the option, the tight end, or the running back on the option route, depending on who's open. So I'm just going to try and simulate that by, or actually let me just show you what the play looks like. Let me just show you what it looks like when you use cloud flats first. So cloud flats first, right? So just throw that. I know it looks covered, but if you throw a low ball, the defenders will not react. Alternatively, you can actually, when you throw that low ball, you can go and try and catch it yourself. So this is where you want a big body receiver out there. I just happen to be using John Ross. I should be throwing this to green, so actually I'm going to go ahead and flip this play. I'm going to go ahead just to illustrate, and then I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like with maybe hard flats. I mean, obviously with hard flats, it's definitely going to be open, right? So go ahead, do that. And then you just throw it in between both of them. Throw it in between both of the defenders, throw it low. They will not, these zone defenders will not react. So this is on all Madden. I mean, you can go into practice mode, obviously, and just try this yourself. But so you wait for the flat to clear. If the flat clears that defender, right, you're going to go ahead and just throw that curl. If this zone defender, for some reason, or if his user goes over to this area of the field, then you can throw the hitch. I'll just go ahead and simulate that right now. So let's pretend that this guy went ahead and did that, right? So you run this concept before, right? And you scored. So the next time you come down, maybe he's like, oh shit, here we go again. And he doesn't want to change his defense up, because even if he plays a cover 3, like if he switches to cover 3, it's going to be the same thing, right? So like that, and then now you've got the option route open. And then if their next adjustment is, okay, you know what, I'm gonna man up the receiver, and then then his user will go to maybe over here, right? I'll just go ahead and let's just simulate that as well. So if they have 2 users basically covering, so basically they got 2 guys, they've covered the 2 routes that they think are dangerous. Now we've got the other route. Especially versus cover 4, you can just throw that. So it's basically just a progression read. You just read from right to left. So you read the flat, read the curl, read the option route from the running back, then read the tight end on his spot route. And then finally, if they cover all 4 of those, right? So the only way they could do that with this coverage shell is to go like that, maybe man him up on the tight end, and then maybe he'll user cover the option route himself with one of these guys. We're still going to have this concept on the backside, so what you could do, if in that situation, if you notice that adjustment, you can put this guy on a slant, and then just kind of play there, and then use high point to slant. So if they cover all the other options, you can, the next play down, maybe you can go ahead and just put them on a slant. Let's see how it looks like with the slant in the play. So maybe you can just come out like this, right? Like this. And then you can actually throw that in the back of the end zone too. So versus cover 4, you can just go ahead, motion this guy, right? And obviously if they try to blitz you, you can hit any of your quick check downs. So if they come out in a cover 2 blitz, right? So a lot of players, at least this is what I like to do. So they'll come out in some kind of 5-man pressure, and then maybe they'll drop this guy into a hook or something, or maybe they'll user this area. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate that by just usering it there. That's maybe their user. Maybe this guy is on some other, I don't know, curl flat or something. We're still going to be able to hit some routes here, so we still have the curl flat read. If that's not open immediately, we can just go ahead and hit the check down right there, right? So if they blitz you at all, you just look. It's a very quick development play, especially if you get good at it. You can make all your reads within 2 seconds. And then, so that was just a show versus cover 4, right? So I showed you hard flats, showed you cloud flats, what it looks like. I showed you if they user anybody. And then now I'm going to go ahead and show you versus Tampa 2, because Tampa 2 will kind of shut down this concept a little bit. They'll give it a little bit of problems because you've got this defender, now he's in a vert hook, and he's going to kind of sit in this curl area a little bit better. The flat route is obviously, he's going to stay in the flat. And then they're going to have kind of these hook defenders. His user's probably going to be like right here, right? He might even have a spy, so if he plays like a maximum coverage, right? Because obviously around the red zone, he's not going to he's not going to send only 2, because if he does that, then it's pancake city, basically. So maybe he plays this kind of maximum coverage, cover 2. So what you can do in that situation is still the same read, but your main read is probably going to be the high-low. I just realized that you can actually, versus cover 2, you can throw the spot route, so if you look, not the spot route, the running back option route. So if you go back where I threw the slant, the option route was open. So you can throw that too. So if they play cover 2, and the curl, so basically it's the same idea. If the curl is taken away, like if they user the curl, most likely one of the 2 underneath, either the spot route or the running back option route, like here versus cover 2, I could throw the option route, like I could have thrown it like right on the snap, I could have just thrown that, right? Because their user's either going to have to cover the tight end spot or the slant, and in that case, you still have the running back as an option. Another curl flat concept that also works. So alternatively, if you don't want to put him on a hitch, you can go ahead and put this guy on a seam route. So what that will do is it will put a stress on this middle defender. So he either has to cover the spot route, or he has to cover the tight end, the running back going up the seam. So here, and then we can just go that. Right. So let me just show you what it looks like versus cover 4. So versus cover 4, right? I can still throw this. So instead of having him on option, I can have him on a seam, right? And then that'll still open up. That'll still open up that window because it will at least occupy, right? It will at least occupy that linebacker, because if he goes ahead and uses that window there, right? Because he has to, like, there's no choice unless he knows about using seam flats. He has to use that option. The minute he does that, I can just throw that right there, just like a quick throw right there. This is where subbing in that fullback option that I'm going to talk about later in the video is going to be very important, where you're going to be able to get a second tight end at that running back spot, so that you have a really good pass catcher there, so you won't drop the ball in that situation. Like a quick throw right there, right in front of the line, the safety. Even if he brings that safety down, maybe some more advanced players who are watching this, they might think, oh, I mean, if I have my safeties right in this area, right, it should be fine. This, and go like that. So even if they bring that safety down, you can still throw it right in front of him, right there. Right there. So they have to keep a linebacker there, or user, or they have to have someone manned up on him. And you can kind of see this cat and mouse game where they're going to have to start, like, they're going to have to user that curl. So they're definitely going to have to cover that, because that's going to be your bread and butter. Once they start doing that, you start looking at the other options. So they're going to have to start covering the curl, the little spot route, and the either seam route or option route. So I can either put them on a seam, the running back up the seam, or I can do like this, and then I can put them on a slant. So if I do any of those, right, obviously it's just cat and mouse. If they blitz you, right, so say they're going to send some kind of hot pressure at you. One thing about putting this guy in this position, it's already going to put the defense out of alignment. So this guy, someone's going to be out leveraged here. I mean, most likely they're going to be switching, right? So it shouldn't be a big issue. But now you've got the backside. So they want to man blitz you. You can still throw this backside route, and you can also throw the spot route. So you can go like this. Let me show you the slant. Obviously, AJ Green should. Then it's up to your matchup out there, right? So maybe you want to put your your best man beater, best man route running receiver out there. So maybe Adam Thielen, he's been killing it this season. Right, and then you can also throw that spot route in front of the linebacker. So let me just show you here what that spot route looks like versus split. So you can throw it. Come on. You can't throw it. Just you take my word for it. You can throw this route. I don't know, it's not working. Just throw a low ball. Yeah. So then at that point it's just really catching traffic. So if you have like no time and you see that, that's almost like a safe throw you can throw. And obviously you can just throw that high point right there, right? So actually, you don't even have to, versus cover 4, you don't even have to bring the guy over. You just put this guy on a slant. You still have the high-low because it's going to be in between the safeties, right? Because this curl is going to actually pull this safety out there. And if he's using that area, right, you're still going to be able to hit that. And then if you need more time, you can go ahead and just block the running back. So then you just read the curl. If the curl's not open, you can still just throw that high point in the back of the end zone. But I would just go ahead and have all 5 guys on route so that they can't just blitz you, because this is going to be a quick developing play. So yeah, so if they try to blitz you, someone's going to be open immediately. There, I can just try and throw that. And that's where you want to have your best catch and traffic receivers. And if you have a running back who's not really a great catcher of the ball, so I think a lot of people with Ult and Mutt, right now they have Ricky Williams. So what you can do is so in a wide trips, so a lot of wide trips you have this package where you can sub in your fullback. So wide trips, weak, or whatever, it doesn't really matter. I think even this one you can sub in your fullback. Even this one you can put in your fullback. So there's a lot. So wide trips, I picked wide trips because that's a very universal playbook. In most playbooks you have some kind of wide trips, something, and usually you should be able to sub in the fullback. So this is the Bengals playbook. If you're curious, I've been using this for a while, so I'm pretty familiar with like formation subs and everything like that. So you should be able to put in a fullback, and at your fullback you should put in your second tight end. So if you have two good pass catching tight ends, I went over this tip in a video. You can go ahead and look through my videos. It's called I think it's called using the formation sub to get to get the best pass catchers on the field, right? So if you don't want to necessarily go empty, but you want to still get really good pass catchers, what you can do is you put your second tight end. So I'll just illustrate this right now. So you can go ahead, go to the tight end. Fullback. Right, so you can put, like, if you've got a bunch of good pass catching tight ends. So here, Tyler Eifert, he should be starting, but it's because he's injured in real life. That's why he's on the bench. So you can put Tyler Eifert at that fullback spot, right? And then when you come out in this play, now you've got Tyler Eifert, or your second tight end. So then you've got three receivers and then a tight end. And obviously you can still run the ball with the tight end. It's just maybe they won't be as fast. I mean, I kind of go over it in one of the videos in my. I'll link it in the description actually, just to save you guys some time. So here, so obviously, if they even think, okay, I'm gonna sell out on that route, right? So now I've got Tyler Eifert catching this ball, and he's obviously gonna hang on to it in traffic. I can also, and the great thing about this is also that when you come out in the play, it's gonna look like when they pick their play call, it's gonna look like I'm running empty because I'm gonna have no running backs, but obviously I can still run the ball here, right? So maybe if they think they can just sell out for the run, I can just run a HB draw, obviously. Right, so if they go ahead, what was I going after? Or actually, I can just show you I haven't really shown a lot of cover 3, so your opponent might play cover 3, you never know. Should be ready for anything. So versus cover 3, this should still work, but see, now versus cover 3, so if you get cover 3, you can still you can throw that seam route like over like a high point. Obviously it's basically just high point. You can high point that. Yeah, and then versus cover 2, I definitely like this. I definitely like this seam route versus cover 2. And then you have this guy, so you've got two options. So if they play cover 2, maybe they play a maximum coverage style cover 2, like that. They put a spy out there. You can just do that right there. Because it's going to stretch, and I'll just show you in replay why that's a problem. So it's going to be a problem for them because they're going to have, so they have their spy, right? So not only do they have to cover this, they have to cover this curl area because I'm going to run a slant there, right? So if they don't cover, if they are lazy about this area, obviously I can just throw this slant, right? If they don't cover the spot route, they have to at least cover the spot route with someone, right? Basically we're basically flooding their area, flooding the zone, and then obviously it just leaves that open, wide open. And even if they put a guy in a deep third, I can still throw the seam route because it's kind of delayed by the time he breaks. So basically it just stresses, and then also stresses this vert hook player, right? So he has to either play underneath this curl, right? He has to either play underneath this curl, or he has to play the seam. And if he doesn't play the seam, then I can just throw the curl. So let me just show you what that looks like, and then I'll end the video. Right. And I feel like this is something that hasn't been explored a lot in Madden. this year. Maybe because this concept was not, you could never think that this curl flat concept would ever work. It's kind of like last year when double slants was actually a pretty good way to score in the end zone, just running slants and throwing high points. That was actually a pretty good strategy to score in the red zone. This year, I think playing this playing curl flat is actually the easiest way to score in the red zone. But you should try and do it. Quick shout out to Deuce Close, the YouTuber. He earlier this year he broke down the curl flat concept, and that's kind of what inspired me to use this around the red zone. I'd been using this curl flat to just move the ball down the field, but I never thought to use it in the red zone, and that's kind of the genesis. So shout out to that guy. That guy breaks some fucking amazing content. I don't care. I'm cussing. Who cares? That guy makes some great content. So I'm gonna link his channel in the description of the video that talks about how the curl flat is kind of broken this year. So, or the curl flat is kind of getting open this year against a lot of coverages. So yeah, I'll link in the description. User on him, so they're gonna user that seam because they've seen you do the seam a few times. I mean, so if they do anything, so maybe they cover all of it. Let me just say, so in order to cover this, they're going to have to probably have a second hook defender because they're going to have to cover the spot, right? They have to cover the spot route because they can't just use it. They can't just rely on this spy because I can literally just move around the pocket and open up the window for that spot route. So it's not like I'm just going to stand here in the pocket and then they're going to like be able to rely on this spy to cover the spot route. So they're going to have to like maybe put a man defender on him. But even if there's a man defender, you can still fit the throw in. So let me just show you that too. So I'm going to manipulate the spy. And I just throw a low ball, right? Catch it, right? So this is where you want, this is obviously where matchups are going to be important, right? So if you've got, a Gronkowski, someone who's going to beat that linebacker, I just manipulate the spy. I could have even moved the other way, right? And then just throw a low ball. So that'll be there for you as well. Not to mention if they're using this guy, I won't even show you, but I can still throw this slant. I can even just throw a low ball slant to him in front of this safety. So now we're gonna go. Maybe all the reads for cover 2 are like lockdown, right? So they play cover 2 because they can't play cover 3 or cover 4. There's like literally nothing they can do. They can't play cover 3 or cover 4. They are gonna take away the slant. They're gonna take away the tight end sit route, which they're not really taking it away because I can still get to that throw. They're gonna take away the seam route from the tight end. If they do that, most likely they might have had to do something like this. They had like something like this, maybe even user this guy, man up the three or four routes, right? High point. That's what at that position you're gonna want. I don't know when. Oh, maybe it's when I put the fullback sub. So yeah, so when I put the fullback sub, it put actually Ross in the slot as opposed to out there. So this is where you're gonna want, a big body receiver here, because the only way that I think that they can really stop this is to play cover 2, and then they really have to just their users, and they have to do a lot of man adjustments to stop this, right? Because I showed you basically how easy it is to beat cover 4, how easy it is to beat cover 3, how easy it is to beat cover 2 with the seam route from the tight end. So if they take all that away, this is after you've probably ran it a few times, right? And you have to remember that you're probably playing an opponent, online. They've never met you, so they don't know your tendencies, right? So if they blitz you, obviously you got the slant, you got the spot route that you can just throw a low point. You got the seam route. If they play if they try to overplay the curl, right? So their only strategy is going to really be to play the cover 2, right? That's where you're going to attack them in the back of the end zone with a high point. And this is where you're going to want to have a really good, you're going to want to put a big body receiver. Maybe you want to put, I don't know, if you've got Alshon Jeffrey, I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of options. Randy Moss. Um, I don't know. You just want to put a receiver that you feel comfortable throwing a high point. And this is on all Madden, right? So even if this corner, so the corner isn't a cloud flat, right? Obviously, if this corner for some reason bails here, right? So I'll just go ahead and show you, right? If he bails there, if he bails to the corner, right, for whatever reason, because most players in Madden, they kind of concede the corner routes in the red zone. Like they don't really care about the corner routes. So we're just gonna simulate that by doing that, right? So maybe they might do that. This actually might not be a bad red zone defense. Actually, I might actually use this because when you play cover 2 like this and you man up players, they actually play the run like super well. They actually play the run really good. So actually, this is actually, you can take a tip from this. This is a good red zone defense. Just go like this, right? So even if they do that, so let's say that they play the curl, right? So maybe they man up the curl. Even though if they man up the curl, you can still throw the curl. You still have you're still gonna have. So if they somehow bail to the curl, you still have that flat. You can still throw the flat out. And you can even like it could be your last read, right? So like you can look all over the field. They're playing max coverage defense. Maybe they just decided we're not going to play the flat because that's not the area he's attacking. Maybe they've adjusted to that point. Your last read could still be that flat route. Let me just show you what it looks like versus man-to-man. This could also be, this is also pretty viable defense, like just to put these guys in hook curls and then they'll just sit on the ends in the red zone. Right. You can still throw it versus man-to-man defense, so it's not ideal. So this is probably where I'd want to flip it and throw it to my best man. So if their adjustment is to play man, like max coverage man, so maybe like this, put him in a spy, so you can't scramble. There's obviously other plays we can go to if they start to play man defense. So you're still going to have the slant, you're still going to have the spot route, but maybe these two zone defenders are going to be kind of in that read. You're still going to be able to throw this curl. You just have to kind of. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Why is he sitting in that? Why is he sitting in that? Oh, that's weird. So go back to man. It's okay. Boyd should be able to win this matchup. I don't know why he's screwing around. Let's just go ahead and just throw it. And you can still, like even versus man press, you can still throw that ball. It's not going to be as consistent, but it's there. Like it just depends on the win rating. So if he wins this battle here, right? Because when he runs it in the red zone, for some reason versus press coverage, this defender he kind of just like sits there and he doesn't like look at the ball. He's kind of like shadowing the man, and then you can just throw it right there. Show you one more time. So they've covered up all the other man beaters, right? They've covered up the slant, they covered up the spot route. And then maybe they've even covered up the seam because they're playing the man. Still, throw that. Let's see, one more time. Not as consistent versus man, but you get the idea. And obviously, you're still going to be able to throw. You're going to still be able to throw the slant. So even if they do something like this, you can still. So if he wins his battle there, you can still throw that. Like, so maybe versus man, you want to kind of open that up in the back of the end zone. You can put this guy on an option route, and if he does play man, so if he does play man, the option route will convert into like an out route. So that's actually a good thing about having a good tight end here. So we're gonna be manned up. We're gonna probably be manned up on a linebacker, like especially in the red zone. Like most likely they're gonna have a linebacker covering, and then it's gonna be probably their middle linebacker. So if it's like one, he's gonna be out leveraged. Two, you're gonna have your, one of your better pass catchers, and then you can just wait. You can literally just wait. So even if they play man, you still have that option route as an option. Yeah. So, all right. So this is man to man. Go ahead and do that. You just wait. Throw that. Yep. So that's all the options. And then obviously if they blitz you, they can't really blitz you without leaving one of these routes open, because everything is basically 3-step drop throw, right? So everything's going to be open on the third drop. You can throw that. Yeah. All right, I think I've beat this point up enough. I'll just end the video here. So this is just to say, gun wide trips in most playbooks, play curl flats. You want the curl flat that has kind of this guy on a spot route. I mean, there's a lot of playbooks. You can literally just go through their playbook, search by concept, go to curl, and then just look for plays that have the flat from the slot, this spot route from the tight end, and then you can just go ahead, motion this guy over, put him on a seam route, put the backside receiver on a slant, or you can put him on option route. I like the option route versus most coverages, unless I know they're playing cover 2. And even if they're playing cover 2, I can still throw that little a high point in the end zone. All right, thanks for watching. And obviously, and actually, subscribe if you like the content. And if you have any other suggestions for tips that you would like me to break down, or things that you want me to look at, playbooks, I'm taking requests. I'm on vacation, so for a week during Thanksgiving, so I have a lot of free time to like kind of go deeper into Madden. All right, thanks for watching. Bam.